Welcome to the Unscripted SEO Interview Podcast. Yes, it's 100% unscripted, 100% unrehearsed, 100% unedited, and 100% real. I'm your host, Mark A. Preston. And the reason I wanted to invite my guest on today was to totally forget about the coloured hats in SEO and talk about the money side of SEO. And my guest today is no stranger to the money side of SEO. He's an SEO affiliate and SaaS marketer. Please welcome Jamie IF. Hi.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. Good to chat. Good to see what we're going to talk about with the money hat side.
Yeah. Well, for the people watching this or listening to this podcast who doesn't know anything about you, could you give me a bit of a whirlwind tour of when it was you started in the industry, how you started, and what's happened from then till now?
Sure. So I'm 27. I've been in the game about 4 years now. And I found out what SEO was because I tried to launch a streetwear company when I was like 18, 19, and it blew up on Instagram. 16,000 followers within 3 months. I thought, this is it. And this is when it was like hard. Like it's like easy now. No offense to Sammy, who is doing well, my friend who's blowing up on Instagram. He's going to be annoyed listening to this. But it was hard. But didn't convert to sales. And so I didn't know what SEO was. I went to France on an internship year for my uni degree. To work at this publisher that was in France, like to do the English language side. And they had this conundrum where they couldn't understand how a page that wasn't the homepage was getting more page views than the homepage. Because surely you go in through the homepage and then you go to the next page, right? So that spawned this thing where I was like, oh, you can rank and get free real estate online. And I was annoyed because the social aspects, and as well as not selling with the streetwear brand, you had to continuously post stuff. And I'm lazy. I don't want to have to post anything. The idea of making something once and getting recurring revenue from this just lit a light bulb in my head, and I got obsessed and started trying it out. When I graduated from uni in 2019, I was doing this and that. I was trying to do like a sort of pseudo charity to help with the homeless situation in London, ran out of money. And then I was like, right, I need to do something and actually make some money now to try and get this off the ground. So the IF and the name comes from. Ran out of money, thought about how do I make a lot of money quickly. And I decided that with no evidence that I could make money in this game, I'd have a go at making money in this game. And luckily things went all right. But it came from failure with the original social media focused business with the Instagram, like visual streetwear, trying to sell clothes. And then the wanting recurring page views and then doing content, and then finding out that like you can make a lot more from affiliate than display ads with your own site, and then pivoting to mostly affiliate from there.
Right. So when it comes to affiliate marketing side of things, what would you say is the differentiators between an affiliate doing well or an affiliate side failing? What are, not to go into too much detail, but what are the key aspects?
Mm-hmm. Well, it depends if we're talking historically or in the future, because it's got a lot harder since December, right?
Yeah. I mean, you just obviously moving forward, there's, obviously what's gone in the past, I had 120 sites myself when I first started in the industry, but, basically you could put a word on a page and it'd rank back then. Obviously we need to talk about the here and now.
Sure.
We can talk about, historically a bit later, but if we start off with the here and now about, what's working and what isn't,
Sure. So since September, for anyone listening, things changed dramatically for most content-focused sites. There's been great research by people like Eric Concheras from onpage.ai, who did a really long case study looking at large amounts of data for what's been hit. And what it looks like is there's a sort of classifier sensor that detects A, is it WordPress? And B, is it a content-focused site, which is his hypothesis. And so that to save money crawling the whole web, when you're going for helpful content, if a site doesn't have majority content informational, it skips. So e-commerce seem to be pretty immune right now. SaaS, pretty immune. But content sites are very much hit. So to be a successful affiliate site and brand in 2024 and beyond, really you need to be more, you can't be a majority content site. And which has led to a lot of people sort of doing things to masquerade as other things in order to get their content to be pushed and ranking and not be hit with the helpful content classifier and get pushed down and weighed down in the rankings. which has led to the rise of lots of other opportunities like partnerships where people will go and do deals with big brands that have historic brand search volume and other extensive brand author content signals, do partnerships. And so you need the most real brand signals as possible. And that can be anything from the content level to the author level to the brand level, but the brand level is very much surpassing everything else right now. I don't see a huge amount of evidence for author and content level being a factor, but so the rise of this very high bar for ranking for especially affiliate content has led to a lot of non-affiliate sites now being the model that rank for these keywords. And so my advice to anyone starting an effective affiliate site now would be to have an alternate offer that is not content. That could be just a higher tier offer, growing a newsletter, lead magnet led funnel to be able to offer a higher ticket course project or any other digital products. That can work okay. Some are still hit from those. But even better, if you can be so effective as to white label products, go into a more typical drop shipping or e-commerce type of site and make sure the majority of the URLs on your site are not content focused. That's personally where I'm moving towards now. And unless you're a very large brand, I don't want to talk like just links and DR, but like typically the ones I'm seeing that have been mostly left alone are DR 78 to 80 plus. But for the everyday affiliate site, it's got a lot more difficult since September.
Yeah, it sure has. Just on that, I've been working with a company and they have another, I'd say, informational site. All the content was handwritten by top specialists. The problem is the site didn't have any mention on who these specialists were. And during the helpful content update, it went, well, let's just say it lost 75% of its traffic. So, and that wasn't an affiliate. It didn't have an affiliate link inside. It was like pure lead generation, and that got hit. So I can relate to what he's saying. And I noticed, like on your own podcast, when you were talking to James Brockbank, he explained it as the real business update.
Yeah, that's a good name for it. Like it is apt. It's apposite for what's been hit rather than helpful content.
Yeah. So do you think that the mindset of affiliate marketers moving forward needs to shift from the traditional, let's just pump a load of content out?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a high scale, 1,000 posts a month type of person. One, because I lack management skill, and two, because I always like to do bespoke content that was good quality. I thought it was good quality, right? I'm still here on some sites. And so this fits more with my model. I would love the SERPs to be a content meritocracy because I would love to fight to create the highest quality stuff. Unfortunately, that's not what we're seeing right now, but we can talk about that later when we come to the money hat discussion. But I would love to be, just straight. How do we create the best experience? And what I spend a lot of my time doing is creating briefs for content like this H2. We can best hit the search intent and related micro intents by doing this and this and this. Fantastic. Great. However, for anyone listening that doesn't want to listen to boring content talk, if you're not already in the club now, it's very difficult to get in it with just content. And unfortunately, it's never been more important where that content comes from rather than the content of the content itself. And so, yes, we do as affiliate marketing to shift greatly. Unfortunately, in trying to sort of eradicate scummy affiliate marketers, what I'm seeing a lot of people being turned off is the legit people who are not seeing any ability to monetize their own hobbyist, passionate, real knowledge, expertise, turn into what some people would call black hat because they've done this content. They want to make money for it. They feel a certain level of entitlement to make money from that content. They've been blitzed by Google despite being better than what's ranking. And ironically, in an attempt to weed out all the bad eggs, they're sort of creating more of them by making it so difficult for legitimate content creators to make a living and monetize their own content, which is an interesting catch-22 that we arrive in.
Yeah. I love how you describe that phrase, and you look at doing it properly, basically creating the best content you can. It's not about let's just see, how much we can throw out there. Let's just spam the web and all that. So
there's a time and a place for that.
Yeah, well, we can get onto that. But I mean, Do you have sort of a set structure when you're starting a new website?
I'm not really starting niche sites anymore. So, and this is what I've tried to keep secret, but I'll say here because it's I'll tell you on this one. What we do at the moment is I only want to build sites where I have an unfair advantage, where you can't compete with me because I have something very irreplicable that you can't do. And it can be done, but it requires three-dimensional marketing skills rather than two-dimensional content skills. I don't mean content in a condescending light, but it is just one out of the entire array of marketing skills, right? And so if you can't do social media, if you can't do lead gen, if you can't do paid ads, you might not be able to do as much on the sort of multi-channel site. And so when I'm starting sites, I want an unfair advantage. That may be an engaged community on a newsletter, Facebook group, or an Etsy store is the best one at the moment. And so I'm not trying to start niche sites with a certain structure because the structure has never been less important regarding if you don't fit the club, you're not in the club. And then if you are in the club, traditional on-page H2s, H3s have never been less important. Like, for example, a lot of the really competitive SERPs that I compete in like industrial machinery SERPs, the manufacturers are just ranking for the best terms and they put themselves 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the rest is AI generated. You can even tell because instead of like the best XYZ in 2024, the title is exploring the niche, like whatever, like the typical AI : whatever thing. Like it's so obviously AI written, but it doesn't matter. You can get away with it if you are in the club. So what we're doing at the moment is we just want to build sites, like reverse build sites. We want to build the real social existing brand first, maybe launch an e-com store on Shopify, not WordPress, because that is believed to avoid the classifier of targeting web, which is such a dumb thing to do if that is how it is. Or building Etsy stores that have trust and everything else. Using Etsy paid ads because they're really cheap to make sales of really cheap digital products, fine losing money or break even just to build a really big newsletter, send direct traffic at the blog post we then write on the actual site, and then build it from there. But most people can't do that because they're just used to doing content and they haven't even really developed content skills because they weren't really in the trenches doing those things. And so I feel sorry for those people because you can't delegate your way to $1 million business unless you've been in the trenches long enough to know how to delegate and what good quality looks like to build those systems. And so a lot of people are stuck. But that's how you should build affiliate sites now, the hard way.
Yeah. So something you've mentioned 2 or 3 times there is if you're not in the club. What do you actually mean by that?
It's mostly what James said around real businesses. They've got even very good content sites in some cases have been hit. I know Brandon mentioned on Twitter being hit, so his GSC mentions going to around 50% of traffic. And now I messaged Brandon with some of my advice. I do think he has a lot of over optimization problems. I think that his written content isn't as good as his video content. However, given what I'm seeing elsewhere, he is a real brand and has real search volume, sells a real product and everything else. And I would have thought, just even if I thought that he has content improvements to make, given how little on the rest of the steps I'm seeing people care about the quality of content and rather than who it's from, I'm surprised he's hit. But even high quality content sites like his that have done all the right things to build significant audiences on YouTube, sell real products, host events, I believe he's doing, they're still hit. And so I really think you have to be an unbelievably powerful content site. And by the way, if you're starting a brand new content site and you're growing and you think this is all nonsense, wait 9 months. The classifier hasn't kicked in yet. You're in for a nice awakening if you don't build a real offer on top. Everyone posts these little brand new GSC graphs because there's not enough helpful content data to be able to sting you with it. It will come unless you build another offer on top. I'm just being real with him. And so, if you're like e-commerce stores are taking more affiliate keywords than ever. They're sometimes ranking 2 positions at once for review keywords for the review that they've written and the e-commerce URL themselves. I saw a Chinese manufacturer of industrial machinery literally just call the H1 of an e-commerce product best X for small business the other day, and it ranks like second for the affiliate term. And that's for the plural term. Like I can understand the singular best X for small business, but best X is plural. They're looking for a comparison. And so the intent is really muddled and muddied right now on Google. Like, these are the worst results that I've seen in a long time. But yes, the club being real manufacturers of products in the niche, real SaaS products in the niche, real e-commerce, or in some cases, extremely high DR content sites that dabble in the niche and have been given, like topical authority has been dialed down significantly, in my opinion. And if you are at the top, and the sort of exponent decreasing of where you can go to adjacent niches has been, the barriers have lowered to being able to go there. And content, huge, Dotdash, Meredith and Co, future PLCs have realized this, and they are in the best position to clean up right now. And it's going to get worse and worse unless something happens.
Yeah. So do you think somebody starting out in the affiliate side, I mean, they can't just now create a content topic hub and expect to drive loads of traffic?
Well, they should start a YouTube channel and reverse it into a content site, because that's what the people that are doing well or have just been hit the least, because I don't think many people are up in the small content game who have had been in the game a while, but the people that have only lost 10, 20% are the people that have significant YouTube channels that have sort of gone and started from video and then use that to create good quality content from the video rather than article to video. Because the average quality video product review is a lot higher quality than the average written one. And if you can do that, then you can probably create real content.
Yeah. Are you saying turn your videos, quality videos, into an article?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen lots of great examples of that working really well? Because after all, it's conversational. It is somebody's experiences. It's all these things that not only Google, but the audience looking for.
Agreed. And the search intent for a review keyword is a lot less muddled than the average search intent for an informational keyword, which can be for some C keywords can be super, super varied. So if you're going from a video review to a written review, even if you're not an SEO, you can usually hit the micro intent. For example, if you're reviewing a finance app and that finance app is the best for beginners and for low cost investors. We did this one for my friend Sammy's site recently. In that video, the people coming to that particular one because it's got no investment fees, or you can get access to other people's trading accounts for famous investors to copy them and whatever else. That is, and you'll just naturally say it if you've done your research in a video. So it's ideal if you're starting from scratch or anything else. That is the micro search intent of that particular review, because that review and that product is designed for that particular segment of the audience. You don't need to think, what's the search intent? How do I hit this in the first paragraph of the featured snippet for in the typical SEO style? Because if you really know your product reviews and your niche and you've done it and you've used it and whatever, that will just come out in the content. And so, for affiliate especially, the transition from YouTube to written content is a lot easier to do than informational, where it can be more complex and more SEO-y high level. Because if you know and you've done the legit review, the search intent will naturally flow out of that for the micro intent. Obviously, the macro intent just being general review, but the micro intent best for beginners, early stage investors, whatever that may be for your particular product, you'll naturally hit that most likely.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation we have in here, I'm loving. I expected, we blast this, blast that, and everything, but ultimately,
we can also talk that.
Yeah, but I mean, it really comes down to having a solid business behind it, and from what you're describing so far, everything's well structured, it's done for a purpose, it's all everything. So let's move on to forward now. We've talked about, obviously, the foundations of everything. Now, let's talk about what's actually happening and getting traction still, that not only used to, but still. I mean, obviously, Charles, with the whole parasite SEO thing that is highlighted, is nothing new, but he's just highlighted it, and that seems to be a big topic conversation. And let's not even Reddit or everything, let's delve into what's actually working.
Yeah, Reddit's working really well. I think it doesn't have that much longevity, but we've built a really big I don't want to out myself, but like we've got like one of the biggest networks of botnets, like just the auto commenting, like filler comments based on like ChatGPT and edited answers that VAs can do, just fill out like 10, 12 comments. Then we hit a few affiliate top comments based on a spreadsheet of the top earning like of potential affiliate in our niche. Fill it up again with like automated ones, fill it up. And we've got hundreds of top comments on all the biggest threads in our niches right now. Like we're driving, I'd say 1,000 clicks a day just from like certain top comments like that are there right now. And so that's very lucrative right now. But to be able to like build all the proxies and all that stuff is like, was boring to set up. But now we've got a pretty good system. I'm thinking about selling a service, but I don't think it's worth my time. I'd rather just make all the money for myself. But yeah, Reddit's working really well if you can do that. They are starting to clamp down on it, both on the mod side, and I think that Google will have to give other forums that are less abusable more airtime. I'm surprised that they went so aggressively in Reddit's favor because it's the most easy to abuse, whereas like niche forums would have to figure out and reverse engineer what works. Quora have already done a better job. You can't just buy up votes to the top like you can on Reddit. Like if there's a more like a weird sort of author EAT element of getting top comments on Quora with like a sort of more traditional PageRank style, like old school and on page thing there that is more difficult to crack with AI generated answers, though we've still managed to do it to a level. But niche forums, you'd expect to get more airtime because they're just the real woodworkers hang out in the woodworking forum, and the real like software developer. Well, actually, maybe they probably hang out in Reddit, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm surprised they won't say I'm for it because like Reddit was the easiest to abuse, but I'm surprised they went so aggressive on there. But it's a nice way to outsource any responsibility for product reviews when you can't figure out what good content is, I suppose. But that's on them for just not being able to do their job. As well as that, Parasite, more successful than ever. I know everyone saw Outlook India get dinged and thought, hey, we've won the war. I promise you the things that I've seen would make anyone's head explode. And the stuff that's going on right now is unbelievable and more rampant than ever. It's just better hidden because no one's tweeting about how they get an Outlook India post for $300 on these other parasites that no one knows about. It's so well done now. And even better hidden, if you can do deals with big publishers, like I know some of the biggest newspapers in the probably whatever, like fuck it, they can't like they don't know who told me. You can buy subfolders on like some of the biggest newspapers in the world for like $500,000 a year and do whatever you want with them. And then if you like incentivize it well enough, it will never be detected because you can if you can get the partners to support that existing parasite content with internal links, so it just looks like not like the bastard child of the site, but actually just part of the site. Undetectable. You can't detect that. It's impossible. And so it's here to stay under the current algorithm. You either have to improve content quality, allow more expert niche publishers to rank, or you'll deal with the people like me that can go both ways and go white hat, and I would prefer to go white hat with it. I enjoy creating good experiences, but I'm getting my $100,000 a month, whether you give me traffic to my main sites or not. I'm taking that. And so you can either make the algorithm structured in the way that I can compete on meritocracy, or that I have to abuse my way to the top. I really would rather go one way, but I'm morally ambiguous when it comes to it, as long as I get paid. And so that's the way it's going to be. And we can go either way.
Yeah, I think with the whole parasite side of things, I mean, these are websites that's built brand trust. They built authority over the years, not just authority in a number, but real authority that their audience trust. They've got, millions of views. They've got everything there. And honestly, apart from the low quality rubbish, but if you do it properly and you create a real quality experience, then what are they going to do? You
don't even have to
downgrade the whole
experience.
site. They can't just downgrade a whole site. I mean,
well, they can do if they want, but I hope they take out Forbes first, because you can buy a post on Forbes for $5,000 whenever you want. Yeah. Business Insider $3,500. Where do you like? I'm happy with that. And they say that everyone's saying search results have gotten so bad lately, and everyone also wants to shit on niche sites and niche creators. And like, I know niche site is a dirty word now; it's got so convoluted. But as soon as they hit the niche sites, everyone started saying the search results got way worse. And so, like, you can have one or the other. Either they're terrible and the search results are great now, or the niche sites are actually, they form some kind of helpful ability to find information in terms of information retrieval, and search results have gotten worse because
Yeah.
It's what it is.
I mean, there is something I need to point out to the audience. Now, when you're looking at, the tactics that affiliate marketers use, obviously it's their own websites, it's their businesses, so they can take risks. But it's a totally different ballgame if you're working with a business that employs people and everything, because it's not your
Agreed.
risk to take. Obviously, affiliate
Agreed.
marketers can take that risk because it's their business. But if you're working with a brand, it's not your decision to take that risk with them. And I just think that sometimes some SEOs get both things mixed up.
So it's a cowboy crazy wasteland of good and bad, and I'm not the arbiter of reason and morality. But what I will say is, I've won more partnerships where other much more talented SEOs and affiliate marketers who are more well known than me have been in the running and pitching them for that partnership, for that particular niche. I think we know which niche it is, the niche that everyone wants to make money in. And I have that subfolder on that enormous $100+ million site because I was honest with them. I said, if you do this with most people, they're going to leave you high and dry. You'll make a lot of money for the first few months. And then the links they build to your site are going to get to a level where they're going to turn the rest of your site into a write-off of several $100 billion. If you go with me, I demand that you support that content with internal links and don't treat it as the bastard child of the site, and make sure that it's come together as if it's one existing, living, breathing part of the site that is being supported in every other way. And I promise that I will leave you, like the campfire rule, I will leave you in better or as good a condition as I came with it. Because I'm not here to just like destroy shit, make a bit of money and leave. I like to think that I'm contributing. Like my roots, the IF comes from what I want to do with social enterprise, with creating a soup company that for every soup that we sold, we'd give one to a homeless person and try and make a social enterprise that wasn't profit focused, but could survive without charitable donations. Because as we saw in COVID, as soon as that happened, all the charities were going to go belly up if they didn't get the donations. And so I would want to avoid something like that. This isn't me trying to virtue signal, but I get that. And 100% the caveat of this is, if you want to just hop from site to site, destroy it with the worst kinds of links that can work for a few months, you can do that, but you do affect people's livelihoods. And I wouldn't want to do that to them, because if you've trusted me and we've got this partnership to do this, I want to make sure that it's profitable for the long term. I also, in the contract, say that if you want me to leave, you have to buy me out for X months revenue. And if that goes to zero, then that's quite cheap to buy me out. And I prefer it to be expensive to buy me out.
Yeah. I mean, it is like you say, a partnership where, it's in both people's interests to make it work as well as possible. And I think, years and years ago, I had some affiliate relationships, but it were mainly the lead generation side on things. But when you're looking at what partners to work with, what's your mindset on that?
Biggest, most profitable, make me the most money, least work.
I mean that's the golden nugget for everyone.
Try not to do work, everyone.
Yeah,
just get the richest things that can't fail.
Yeah, I suppose it's the whole profit margin and everything that goes into it. Is this like a level that you won't go below, or what's the sort of baseline when you want to work with someone?
It's niche specific, and also I'm not trying to pretend that I'm the guy on this stuff. Like Jackie Chow is doing so much more than I am, and some other people are as well. Like he's pioneered that. He's got a great Slack group that talks about it and all that fun stuff. I think I'm going to launch some kind of community, not around Parasite, but around other things. So watch out for that if I do launch that by the time this podcast launches. But if you want to talk real partnership stuff, he's the guy to go to rather than me. I'm not operating at any kind of like scale like he is. I think he's doing like 500K a month revenue off it, which is pretty wild. But it's niche specific. Like some niches, you've got to be like let's say dentistry. I'm not in that, so we'll use that. Like you might only need a DR20 that's a real dentist to do damage there, because they can still rank for stuff because they're a real business. but it works. But in some niches, it's DR85, even like it's table stakes, and even then, it's you've got to bargain like 5 figures in links for like a few posts. Like it's really niche specific, right? I don't, apart from that one huge site, which we want to go all the way with the casino stuff. The others are. I'm not in any crazy niches. I've managed to. I'm good at CRO and like the copywriting psychology side, which is what I enjoy. So with like my background, like I think over the next few years, I think I'll shift more into direct response, to be honest. But out of SEO, I don't think that I'm going to be here forever. I'm looking to retire from the SEO game, but I want to make some money first. But that's what my background is, the affiliate CRO side. And so I don't even have to operate in crazy niches because the team have been briefed and been able to learn how to write with those principles. To be able to do decent conversions, even not on the craziest niches, which increases the number of niches we can operate in, especially lower competition ones, and still do decently. We're good at also asking people for more money as soon as we have any leverage, and so we can get the highest rates.
Yeah. When you're talking about CRO there, do you think there's a big disconnection with some affiliate marketers because all they're doing is looking at how can I get ranked, how can I drive traffic, but obviously once they get there, the content has to convert people into doing what you want them to.
Yeah, and so there's two ways of looking at it. There's the CRO, and then there's the ability to rank it, and how do you combine those? Because in some cases, I mean, mostly they don't, in my opinion. But like for example, I do some work with Lasso, and like what they build primarily, and what they're known for is the product boxes and tables for just converting people and segmenting people and that sort of stuff, and they convert really, really well. It's also a way of meeting search intent at the top. However, if you just have that there, you don't have the supporting content that's going to funnel like the long form stuff that can then internally link to your real reviews and show other good signals, it won't convert. But mostly it's around the 80-20 is just most people do not think. They just write 10 products and they search for what can fill that. When really, like I call it the movie casting method, wherein you should only have as many products on that page as there are roles in that movie. For example, best vacuums. What are the audience segments coming to that page? Find out who exactly they are and who's not, and don't appeal to the ones who aren't, and only appeal to the ones that are. And then cast your movie for each product that fits that segment, for small businesses, for pet hair, for a cheap portable version. Find out who those segments are and cast your movie with those products. The goal is to have the least products possible. So there's no analysis paralysis. They just go and buy it like a doorway page. But most people want to load up with too many products, confuse people, be too afraid to make the sale, and then lose the sale. And so I advise people the fewest products possible, but as many as there needs to be for segments. And that's the 80-20 of it, really.
So are you seeing Google downgrading pages with affiliate links in?
We're seeing Google downgrade. I'm careful to make correlations because there's so like you can say the same about display ad density and everything else. Because the types of content sites that use display ads or that use affiliate links are typically content primarily focused sites. It's easy to make that assumption, but in the absence of like single variable tests, I wouldn't want to hang my hat on that. I actually don't think that that's the case, but I think that because you can see high DR sites flagrantly using dozens and dozens of affiliate links and not getting a problem, I think it's also really easy to hide an affiliate link. So I don't think they'd want to incentivize that. I don't think that's the case. Just so I don't think display ad density is the thing that everyone was saying was the thing that got you hit before, because there are so many flagrant counter examples of people that are very much listed. Like go on the Sun and see if you can read the content. I don't think I think you'll struggle, And so those are features and they may well be signals, but to then not do affiliate links to avoid one signal of thousands, I would say is not the most prudent financial play.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just taking, for instance, if Google did downgrade all the affiliate links and suddenly there were no affiliate links on the planet, then it's going to look a totally different world. And obviously that Google themselves with AdSense and everything. with AdSense, they can't totally dismiss it because they have to look at their own revenue as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's a major part of their revenue, but it is a part of their revenue. Even if it's only 20 billion of a trillion, you don't want to lose. I don't know the specific numbers, but it sounds like only 2%, but then it's the GDP of a small country, and you've got to take that into account, right? Like it's serious stuff, even if it is small for a company that big. If they did really so you'd only rank an affiliate keyword with no affiliate links, all you'd get is the manufacturers putting themselves top. Because the economy with affiliate marketing, I know people have this thing in mind of it's just paid ads, people running dodgy Nutra or finance ads, and that's a factor. I understand that. I also have nothing against it. You do you. I don't really care. But what affiliate marketing has managed to do in a beautiful, positive way has allowed independent creators to monetize their own content and make a living from it. And I don't see the problem with that. Good affiliate content makes the world go round. It helps with information retrieval for people who want an unbiased opinion, that don't want to look at Amazon reviews that you can pay for and are literally the least reliable things ever. They want independent, real people that they can engage with, they can bond with, they can build a vicarious relationship of them testing the product via you. They want that what's it called when you are famous and people have a one-sided relationship with you? They want to do that with creators. I forgot what the name's called. And people want to try before they buy, especially for high emotional goods that have a high cost of being wrong. And so that allows people to get paid for recommendations. Now, it does skew people. People may be tempted to recommend the product with the highest commission. Fair enough. But I think this demonization of affiliate links is crazy because it helps so many independent creators make a living. And I find it strange that there's so much of an attack on that when there's way worse examples of bias in the SERPs right now, with just email companies ranking for best email software and ranking themselves top. That is a worse violation of zero bias than an affiliate link that is incentivized somewhat to rank a higher referring product. But even it doesn't that doesn't trump most cases. Most people I know don't just blindly do the highest paying thing, because that's only one part of earning per click, which is the metric that everyone should use as their affiliate marketing North Star. If a product is bad, it won't convert, or if it converts, it'll be returned and you won't get paid. And so generally, the best product is the one that rises to the top with the overall earnings. And so I don't even think it's that biased.
Yeah. Do you think that with affiliate marketers, they should start with something that they're interested in? Something like products that they've bought, they understand, they've actually tried, they've got personal experiences with, that then they can relay into all the copy and everything. Do you think that, going into an industry you don't have a clue about and trying to make money from it, obviously, I think that's more of a, later down the line, once you've learned what works?
I would love to say yes, because I want independent creators to be able to rank for their interests, and it's a good philosophy to say don't just try and build sites and stuff you don't know. However, I do not think that Google to any extent cares to, or is trying to, or is able to tell the difference between a really good review and the one that hasn't tested the products. And so if you're not in the club, congratulations, you created great content. It doesn't mean you're going to be rewarded for it in the long term, or at least right now it's not. Hopefully they can improve that somewhat. You'll be able to build a community around it though if it's good content. Like you say, there's a difference between getting people on the page and ranking, and that's the CRO front. CRO is we talk about it in terms of cold hard cash, but it's also an engagement metric. If you do good content to get people on your newsletter, subscribe to your YouTube channel, build the audience around them. And so even if it isn't getting the eyeballs and organics, if you have a multi-channel brand, it will still build that, which then in turn might feed back into organic rankings because you have all the social trust brand signals in there. I don't think that Google is trying very hard to rank real reviews. I think that's why they boosted Reddit, so they could outsource quality control, and it's gone just as well as you'd expect. So I would still not advise unless you're excellent at building e-com sites and SaaS with real brand signals, and then you can just do whatever you want because you can just do affiliate off the back end, I would still say do something because you can actually build a community around it. However, like I'm ranking for like loads of OnlyFans keywords, and I have to confirm on this call that I am not an OnlyFans model. I do not know anything about OnlyFans, and I have never owned an OnlyFans account. And so, like by that logic, I shouldn't be able to rank it. But if you own the club and that site is in the club because it's got such a huge community around it and direct traffic and brand search and e-commerce elements, you can still rank it even if you have no idea what you're talking about. And so I'd love to say yes, but right now it's real reviews are not being rewarded enough to make that recommendation.
Right. So from your experience, how important would you say links are when it comes in relation to content?
My highest DR white hat tried to build a brand, did the best we could to build real content, only real reviews, spent nearly 100 grand on product reviews and testing, hundreds of thousands more on the actual content and brand building around it. It's in the mid DR 50s, high 50s, heading towards 60 right now. Now, most people would say that for a content site, that's pretty high. Like most of these content sites are like DR1s that are ranking for like dumb keywords, right? Still hit just as bad as the low DR sites. And so I still think links are the most important thing right now. If you have a certain threshold of links that makes you a super authority. So we're talking DR 78, 79, 80 plus. I've not seen my DR high 50s get spared any more than DR 30s, 20s, 40s, 10s. But I still think it is a huge difference maker if you are so authoritative that you reach like above DR 70. And that's obviously an arbitrary metric, but it's not just the links, it's like the types of links, right? There's like raw power, relevance links. And then there's like authoritative links that aren't going to like make you immediately rank higher, but are really excellent to have as a bedrock of what a real brand would have. And so I don't want to just go like links because we can divide into like so many like elements, but I'd say not the difference maker until high, and then everything. Then it's everything. And so because all the sites are ranking the sites with everything, it looks right now like everything is what you need. You need the DR80. But below that, like the DR50 something that we've got on there with good content that we built a real brand on and have built all these excellent links naturally, like with natural New York Times links, natural NASDAQ links, whatever else, is getting outranked by DR3 for the same keywords because it seems to not be like the tiebreaker at the lower levels, but it is the everything at the high levels.
Yeah. So for affiliate marketers, what type of link should they be thinking about building for their sites?
How long do you want to rank for?
Is it a case, really is a case of short-term bursts?
Well, you can do lots of things to rank very quickly, or you can build a proper brand and hope that you can rank long-term. If you're doing a proper brand, I would say that the types of link inserts that I was buying a year ago are pretty easy for an AI to discover now. And you need to be better at like hiding your track. If you want to build a real brand, the ones that will age best are links from posts that obviously get traffic, but also have a lot of internal links. Don't buy any links on an orphan post. Obviously, I can't believe so many people don't think about that. And like PR links that might not get you, like I know that Ahrefs did the study that said like digital PR didn't work. It doesn't have to work in terms of direct increasing to those pages or whatever. It just has to give you the bedrock so that you can do all the wild shit after, and it's fine. It just doesn't get you hit. Like it's the biggest like defense against like doing the actual like relevance link buy that you can do after. And so the links that if you want to build a proper brand, I'd 100% go PR. That's related things that can get you and ideally your authors cited on as many sites as possible, to feed into like SG and algorithms that are scraping this and looking for like who are the people in the scene that I should listen to and put up and use as the like contributors to the knowledge graph. You can also do something pretty cheeky where you can buy link inserts on pages that are pretty difficult to discover that this is a thing because you're adding more content to the page. But you literally just use one of your authors, create a quote, buy a link insert on that page that quotes your own author and links to your author, or just have it as an unlinked author mention, which is like the most least likely to be seen as like a black hat thing or like something to penalize someone over, because you're just quoting your own author on that page, and it's impossible to tell that they've paid for that because from what I understand, version changing to be able to see what a link insert is looking for what the changes have been made to a page, like when the link is added. And if it's just a link on a anchor text that looks pretty exact match, like I'm not sure that one's going to go down too well. But if you've added a whole paragraph with a quote in it from an author that is a high EAT quote that's relevant to the thing that adds to the micro search intent for that page, that's a great way of building author trust signals and the types of links that aren't going to get you hit. But if you just want to rank for stuff like I've not really done it, but I know people are crushing with link rotators, from redirecting entire domains into parasite pages, exact match anchors ones. Like it's pretty wild like what you can do if you just want to go for a few months.
Now, what's been your biggest learnings when you've been doing the whole affiliate game and SaaS marketing? What would you say are your top 3 learnings?
I'm good at trying to do a lot of things, like and trying to balance a lot of things, like even just from like working with the SaaS companies that I work with and invest in, as well as my own sites. But to really crush something, and especially in the age of AI, this will become so prevalent over the next year, I think, as well, that anyone can spin up 50 businesses tomorrow to the sort of 40%, 4 out of 10 level. And it's so tempting to balance 15 projects. And like I've been tempted to do it, and I haven't done as good a job on any of them as I could have as a result of dividing my time. But with the ability to scale and with the ability of AI to be like an entry-level worker in any job you could imagine, what I've done by splitting up my time and focus is make it so that I haven't built something unbelievable that is just unbeatable, because the amount of human hours of my skill level focused so narrowly on that one thing to solve that one problem better than anyone else, and then finding the right niche where you can get paid properly by being that far better than everyone else, I would have been more successful than I am today. And so what I've learned is to focus better, to say no to more things, and to do the minimum like possible, like at the highest level. So for example, take like very stringent ROI judgments on content. Anything that isn't like, if we've got existing content, we've been hit and we're looking to 301 and content prune, anything that there's not a serious business case for, 301 out. Because by existing, even if it isn't something that's been assigned a low quality score, and it'd be lovely to get that information from Google, unfortunately, they will never give up to it, which is kind of crazy because we'd like to improve our content and we'd like to find what isn't the quality stuff. And it'd be helpful if we could have a pointer towards that. Irrespective, if there's not a clear business case, aka I cannot see X pay views, X affiliate commissions by spending time, get rid. Because even by thinking about it, you might assign team members to that could be doing something else that's higher value. And there's just a tendency to just keep doing what's been going and not working. And so there's like, I can't stress enough. Since September, nothing that mattered in the history of SEO matters anymore. And I know people say the same about Panda or whatever else. Like, it's not the same, and it may never will be, because Google is a proud company that doesn't want to admit mistakes, and they fundamentally don't really give a shit like as much as like most people want them to. The end goal of like an ultimate Perplexity, Jarvis style instant information that is great for users but terrible for publishers and disincentivizes them to create content, like doesn't bother Google as long as they win it. And so the last thing that I would say I've learned is to be brutally effective. I spent too long just thinking if I create this amazing experience, eventually I'll be rewarded for it. And really, you've just got to take what's yours in this game. And I'm now, I built an emotional attachment to the main few sites that I've built, because They were mine. They got me out of being broke, and now I've got money. They made me my first $10,000. They made my first $1 million on paper, though not liquid, like because I can't sell it now because they've been hit. And I'm so grateful for that. And they were my babies. I wanted them to do so well. And when they got hit, this was in December 2022 for the first time. They recovered mid-year before getting hit again in September. And when they first got hit at the end of 2022, I thought, how can this have happened? Found more things, try to improve it, focus solely on content quality, and just trying to do the best experiences. I would not make that mistake again. It's the other thing I've learned that I would recommend to anyone listening is do not try to bend the world to your own philosophy. For me, it was this content meritocracy thing where I wanted to create the best things. And that was how I was going to impose my SEO knowledge on the world. And really, it's bad SEO because it's not looking at what the optimization is. It's looking at what I want to do. And no one cares what I think. People just care about what works based on a signal-based algorithm that has a billion, trillion factors or whatever it may be. And so now it's just, what can I do that brute force works? I don't care about anything else. And unfortunately, like Google's incentivized a lot of people to be that way rather than being content purists, meritocracy competitors, because that's simply not what's been rewarded now.
Now, we can never give an accurate figure on this, but on average, as a rule of thumb, how much investment should someone be willing to put into a site before it starts turning a profit?
Okay, so I won't answer that one, but I will say that at the moment we just did a value judgment on how much it would take to catch up from our high DR50 site to the biggest site in the niche that does 50 times as much traffic and is the authority. And you shouldn't be just creating a site just to be an also ran, because you could be an also ran until September and still do well. Now you have to be the brand of the niche. There's only room for one, maybe two, and at least if you go and attempt to be number one and you end up being number two, it's not the worst thing ever. But there's no point being an also ran. You can be an also ran on Bing now, but you can't be an also ran on Google. And so we took a value judgment. We went through all the links that had so this are the 3 KPIs. It was how many links does that site? This site is DR 77 or something. We were DR high 50s, and we estimated it would be about $200,000 to catch up in links. And if we're going to do the lowest hanging fruit first, what the Forbes is at $5,000 and the Business Insider is at 3.5 and whatever else. The 3 KPIs were: what are the top 100 highest DR? Do follow, no redirect domains, and just list them out. And what is the DR range? For ours, it was 94 at the top, the New York Times. We've since got more like Wikipedia and whatever else. And the 100th highest DR was 55. So the end of going from 1 to 100, you got down to the mid 50s, like normal size, nothing crazy. But then you started DR 98, and the 100th biggest was still DR 89. So the strength of the link graph was so significantly high that even when you went to that 100, they were still powering out these enormous sites. Now that is a strong site that is not going to be, is a pretty immovable object with regards to like the movements of the search. The second one was for like authority, whatever style links. How many links in the paragraph where the link was that the instance of according to being cited or whatever? We had almost none because we hadn't done enough Harrow and we hadn't been building real brands and with like real author quotes on sites. They had 40. Okay, now we need to get 40 of those by doing lots of Harrow and lots more author link inserts to be able to put those authors on there. And now those aren't going to be the ones that power you up, but they're the ones that give you that base authority that a real brand should and would have. The third one is for relevant links. How many links did we have versus our competitor, which had our niche in the domain name? Like if you're a food blogger, it might be food or cook or whatever that may be, like in the domain name. If it's a vacuum company, it might be vacuum or home or clean, whatever that may be. We had 23 of minimum DR 40. We had 23 of those. Our competitor had 73. Okay, now we can see what those domains are, how they got those links, reverse engineer that and try and get those links. And so if you're going to be the best, those are 3 good KPIs to see about what you need to do to get there. Then you can estimate the project cost. That's just links. We're not even talking content and multi-channel, hiring VAs to do Pinterest, hiring VAs to manage and grow Facebook, doing the paid ads cost to build newsletters off Facebook lead ads or however else you want to do that, building real digital products to sell and everything else. That was just the link cost. And we estimated to be near to $200,000 on there. But those are 3 KPIs that if you want to go and try and be the best and be the big dog, to look at for what's there in the niche.
Wow. Now, the time is rocked on. Is there anything we haven't spoken about so far you believe the audience really needs to know?
I just think that on Twitter, content sites get a bad rep. And also I think I get a bad rep because if you voice frustrations on things, there's always a counter argument and there's always gaslighting from people that aren't testing and aren't in the trenches looking at things that are happening in the search. Now, by virtue of me still being in the trenches, I'd love not to be, I'd love to just be on a beach somewhere not doing this work, but I really do want to recover these sites. I'm seeing what's working and I have a pretty keen eye on what is being measured, what is being improved and what's being not favored right now. And so I don't say this to try and be some sort of black hat spammer, though I've got it in me. I'm fine going that way if you want me to. But I really would rather, and I come from a place of trying to create great experiences because I want to create good things for people because I love to create good, positive. If you can improve someone's day via content, that's a beautiful thing. The ability to do that is restricted by the current algorithm, unfortunately. And so the only thing I'd end with is I think it's so disappointing that there's such this disregard and condescension between both camps of the typical agency people that will work with these sites that are typically the clients that are in the club and therefore it's a lot easier to do right with versus the sort of people that are in the trenches on the niche sites that are really grinding, trying to make DR3s rank for competitive adult keywords. And so it's funny because they could learn so much from each other, high level strategy on the white hat agency side and then the gritty how to make use of every algorithm bit on the content side. But it's disappointing that there's so much nonsense either side. And so I think I come across as someone who's very on that side, and I am on that side. But I find it interesting when I see people subtweet or react to me on that other side, because there's so much collaboration that can be done to learn from here, and it's disappointing that there's so much condescension on that side. Yeah. So I think we could all learn from each other.
Yeah, I think people should have an open mind and understand if that information is reflected into what they're doing. Now, what conversations would you like to have with people and where can they find you?
I am on Twitter primarily. If anyone wants to talk to me, I tweet mostly nonsense, but the odd bit of value. Jamie, JAMIE _IF. I also do a newsletter. Got about 7,200 people right now. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. Increasing.com/newsletter. My website is increasing.com. I very sporadically post content on there. And I do a podcast with my friend Sammy Ellard King from Up the Gains called Click Wars. And there might be a community soon. If you want to join for the real experiments, I'll reveal a lot more than I can here because simply I can't reveal a lot publicly because I did one Discover case study and it got manual penaltied after I even showed the GSC clicks and hit to zero. Literally, I lost 150 grand overnight. And and that wasn't even the domain wasn't real, just from the GSC clicks because they know my GSC. It wasn't a manual penalty, but it went straight to zero the day after. And so I suspect foul play. If you want to join that community, much more will be revealed, much more of the strategy, inside outs of Quora, Reddit, Pinterest, Discover, other fun stuff, as well as SEO, because I think that you need to marry SEO with other forms of traffic driving things. There's sort of a general internet bandits community that we want to do for driving traffic and clicks. And if you want to be a part of that and learn the real stuff, then that'll probably be live by the time this podcast comes out, if you want to talk to me more.
Well, Jamie, many thanks for joining me today and all the best.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
You've been listening to the Unscripted SEO Interview Podcast with me, Mark A. Preston. Join us next time as I interview more top SEO professionals.